It's your boy Jose from Big Beat Sports. How are you guys doing on this lovely week? We have my co-host JC visiting me today because it's some sad news in Miami Dolphin front. And what a better way to get better insight from a diehard Dolphin fan than JC himself. So how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. It was
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of football, I'm not happy at all. But I mean, I was happy yesterday after the win. We finished the season strong. Um, and I thought it was gonna, set the tone for the off season and going
Mhm.
into next season. And then I'm literally laying down after I dropped my son off in school and my daughter's asleep and I'm about to take a nap. Um, and I have ESPN on. I'm
Mhm.
one of those psychos that sleeps with like First Take in the background.
Yeah.
And the first thing that pops up is breaking news. And I see Matt Nagy fired, Mike Zimmer fired. And I'm like, damn, that's expected. And then I see, and Brian Flores, shocker, getting fired. And I'm like, what? And I
Yeah.
couldn't go to sleep after that
Yeah.
because I just started going on Twitter and, just looking it up. And it's just ridiculous, man. It's crazy. It's a shocker for sure. Because this morning on YouTube, I was commenting on a video, the Big O Show. He's a local guy here. He's a former Dolphins beat writer, and I watch his podcast all the time. And he wanted Brian Flores out of here long time ago, so he's happy as hell today.
Yeah.
But I was going back and forth with somebody in the comment section on why he's so hell bent on firing the coach after he did such an excellent job with the team, bringing them back from 1-7, and the defense being as dominant as they were. And I was like, there is without a doubt that this guy is getting another shot. And then an hour after the news was announced, I went back into the
Yeah.
comments and everyone's like, oh, so, so much, he's fired now. And I'm like, I had nothing to say.
As some of you guys may not know, it's called Black Monday because right after the regular season, the Monday after the regular season is mostly the time that a lot of coaches that were on the fence, they get fired. But again, this was a surprising move because you would
It
have
was.
thought that, Coach Flo had two back-to-back winning seasons. Now it's granted, it's not the
First time
season
since
that,
2003,
yeah,
2002, 2003.
and it's granted it's not the season that most Dolphins fans wanted, but I think it was kind of expected when you didn't address the offensive line, you didn't address the running back issue, and losing some key pieces on a defense, but your defense was still strong enough to win you some games and keep you in some games. It was still surprising enough to see this firing, and I think Coach Flos, as I read something online that he has a better winning percentage in the past 3 seasons than eight other teams. So 8 other teams in the NFL have a better winning percentage than Coach Flo. So I just don't
Yeah.
know what entailed of this firing. Some aspects where people are saying that it was because of the Tua, keeping Tua, or not wanting keeping Tua and going for the Watson deal. I just don't know, what to believe, because he a coach that went out there and looked like a player's coach and basically turned this Dolphin team around. And now with the firing of the Miami Dolphins, to me as a South Florida native, I see right now I'm putting the Miami Dolphins in the same category as the Miami Marlins, because you build something up just to tear it down. And I feel like
Yeah.
most of the fans are like that right now.
Yeah, I can't argue with that point. I mean, as much as I dislike it, and as much as I want my Dolphins to be respected and be respectable moving forward, I can't argue with you there, man. It's just it sucks. It sucks. Fun fact before I get into Brian Flores,
Mm-hmm.
the last time we had back-to-back winning seasons was 2002 and 2003, which 2002 we went 9-7, missed the playoffs. 2003 we went 10-6,
Mm-hmm.
which back then was almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
We missed the playoffs. And what happened last year? We went 10-6, missed the playoffs. This year we went 9-8. So very similar. But Dave Wanstead was the coach at the time, and that's when we
Yeah.
had Ricky and Jay Fiedler, Chris Chambers, and he came back until the following year. I think we went like 4-12 or something like that. But yeah, man, Brian Flores. I wasn't always his biggest fan, but I believed in what he was doing, and he as much as people want to, the Tuanons of the world, they want to credit Tua with this 7-game win streak. Tua really didn't do anything spectacular during that 7-game win streak. It was Flores' dominant defense that got us most of those games, if not all of them. And I thought he was doing a great job. The players loved playing for him. Obviously, our team continued to play hard even after starting 1-7. So he had a big role in that. What I'm hearing is the behind the scenes, I guess his relationships with the GM or the owner or his coaches weren't the best. And we have had, a lot of turnover in the coaching staff since he started here. I think he's had 3 different offensive coordinators. Well, 4 actually, if you count the 2 that we had this year. Yeah. And it's just been a revolving door of coaches coming in and out, and there's no consistency there. There's no relationship building there. Is something that he's not great at. A lot of people were comparing him to like Bill O'Brien, and that he's just this tough guy to get along with, and he wants to make all these decisions. But at the end of the day, the players loved playing for him. The players were playing hard, and there's a lot of speculation that he was behind the Watson deal. He really wanted Watson. He does not believe in Tua. All of us know that. If Ryan Fitzpatrick was here, like how he did last year, he would have pulled him. Last year when he threw Tua in their midseason, that was because of the owner's pushback, the GM wanting to see what he had and him going back and forth with Fitzpatrick. This year, obviously he had Brissett. And obviously you went with Tua the rest of the way, which, he played decent, but he was not a fan of Tua at all. So, I was excited.
Yeah. But what my thing is like, so you have a winning coach. Wouldn't you start at the GM first and fire the GM? And then if nothing, goes from next season, then you can think about firing Torres. But I just don't get why they kept Gear.
Dolphins just being Dolphins, that's the logical way to do it. I mean, Chris Greer has done a fine job, but if I'm going to fire anybody, it's going to be Chris Greer. He's had all these draft picks. He's had all this money, and our line continues to be the worst in the league. The quarterback play has been mediocre, if not, less than that. He hasn't hit on barely any of these. Now, the ones that he has hit on have really hit nicely. The Jalen Waddles of the world, the Javon Hollins. I can't even think of, Nick Needham, signing him off the street. Making decisions such as getting Byron Jones and having these 2 lockdown corners and Mike Gesicki. Those were his decisions. And he's been making those decisions since 2016. So the past 5 years, he hasn't been able to figure out this O-line stuff, which has really affected us offensively. And obviously Brian Flores took care of the defense, and you see where we're at, we're there. But I would have started at the GM position. I would have gotten rid of the GM and gotten another GM. Now, a lot of teams, they do both because the GM may want a different coach, but I would have sided with Brian Flores, man. I would have given him the opportunity to, build on what he built on these last few weeks, and we move forward from there. We got a lot of cap space coming up. We got draft picks this year, next year. Brian, Chris Greer already showed us that he hasn't been able to get it done with the arsenal of picks and money that he's had. Why not give Brian Flores a chance to build on that and get him another GM that they can work together on? I personally was excited for Brian Flores to come back because I knew that 2022 was going to be a make or break year for him. Yeah. And I knew that he was not going into 2022 with Tua as his quarterback. He was not going to bet those chips on Tua. So he was either going to be aggressive and try to get Watson, which, obviously if the legal stuff clears, I would love to have, or maybe go after a Russell Wilson or an Aaron Rodgers or somebody.
So you're going to give up on Tua? Like, are you done? Because Tua
I'm not necessarily giving up on Tua, man, but I know people bring up Drew Brees and it took, 4 years for Drew Brees to be Drew Brees. Yeah. And I get that aspect of it, man, but you're dealing with an impatient fan base right now. We are tired of the mediocrity. We're tired of putting people there that have no business being there. You understand? We just don't see it. And a lot of fans, they agree with me. You have, like I said, you have those that are part of the 2-and-on out there and say, give the kid an O-line. Give the kid this, I'm okay with building him an O-line and letting him run next season. I'm okay with that. I guess I'm content with that. But if we had the opportunity to upgrade at the position, and maybe keep Tua to learn from that individual, or, trade him away if you have to. I'm okay with that too. I'd probably prefer that. I'm just tired of the mediocrity at quarterback. And to me, in the film that the kid has, that I've seen this year, riding or dying with him, I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. You see it in guys like Joe Burrow. Obviously, the dude is money.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, who's also made mistakes, but you saw the game last night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That kid was making throws that Tua just simply cannot make, because it's just, he doesn't have that ability.
Yeah.
And it's not his fault. He was taken 5th overall. And he's a really good kid. I really want to root for him. I got his jersey. You know what I'm saying? He's a really good kid, and I don't regret that. I really do wish him well. But man, if we have the opportunity to upgrade at the position, then you absolutely do. If you cannot, okay, then you build around the kid, build him an O-line, give him more weapons, and we'll see what we got.
Yeah.
Hey, I just don't want it to turn into another Tannehill situation, 7 years and,
It kind of sucks because Tua was in the top in accuracy percentage, and I know that he made his bonehead plays here and there, but it kind of sucks for the kid that he really hasn't gotten the opportunity because of the O-line and because of the offensive issues.
And I get that too. Yeah, I get that too. He didn't, he had one of the worst O-lines, so I'm not blaming him either. I'm not saying he'll be something someday.
Yeah.
I think he could be. We saw what he did with weapons in Alabama. And I think the more experience, he's going to get better. But right now, you're just dealing with a fan base that's just tired of seeing this. We want something better.
And what kind of hurts Tua too is, I believe, because of the Watson and now the Russell Wilsons out there, requesting trade, it's not looking good for Tua. I think, if there was like mediocre type quarterbacks out there, I think a lot of the fan base is like, well, there's nobody in the draft and nobody out there to get. We're going to go for Tua. Yep. But a lot of people are wanting Tua to get out of town right now due to that fact of these high profile name quarterbacks are available for the Dolphins to get.
Yeah. And like, look, as much as Brian Flores was on the hot seat going into next year, so is Chris Greer. Because if we have another 5-12, 6-11 season, that's not going to cut it. The GM's going to get fired, and I doubt he's going to want to go into the season with all his chips into his card. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's going to want to do that. So I still believe that if there's an opportunity to get somebody like a Watson or an Aaron Rodgers, they're going to try to get him at all costs. And then you don't necessarily have to trade Tua. You can keep him on the bench. He can learn from these guys, or, if obviously Tua can force his way out of here if he wants to, but man, we're just tired of the mediocrity, man.
And you know what fan base and team is kind of excited right now is the Minnesota Vikings, because they fired Zimmer, and
might get Flores.
Now Flores is available to come in. To me, I think that's a great fit for him, because the Vikings have an outstanding offense. Like they have Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Thielen. They have a decent O-line. Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins, but if
the
you
defense
just get
isn't all that bad either, right?
The defense, I would say they have their moments, but they have key pieces, and I just think it was more of the play calling. But a lot of time, the Vikings were up in games or had the games close, and their defense gave away the game. So I just feel like Coach Flo would be a good fit for the Minnesota Vikings. I hope he doesn't go to the Chicago Bears, because I think it's just another situation, a bad situation that he'll be in. For his sake, for Coach Flores' sake, I just hope he does go to the Minnesota Vikings.
I hope wherever he goes, he has a lot of success. And I know he will. First-time head coach here, he has the experience. He'll learn from whatever mistakes he made down here. But I definitely think he's going to be a great coach someday. Minnesota will be a great fit. And I think they could win right away. Those woes that he had on offense down here, he's not going to have those issues, especially if he gets himself a nice offensive coordinator. So we'll see where that goes. As far as the Dolphins, man, I hope whoever we hire, it's not a first-time head coach. I'm done with first-time head coaches. Joe Philbin, Adam Gase, Brian.
Because that was going to be my next question. Like, who do you want to see as a head coach for the Dolphins?
Yeah, I just don't want it to be. I would like it to be an offensive-minded coach. I think the only first-time head coach I would be okay with is Eric Bieniemy. from Kansas City, because I feel like he's deserved an opportunity for a while now. And I kind of wanted the Dolphins to hire him the first time around, but we went with B-Flow instead. He's the only first-time head coach, or even, maybe even, your guy from Dallas,
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. I'd be okay with those guys because they've proven with their offense is what they can do. That's the kind of offense we want to see down here, like a Kansas City, like a Dallas. That's what we want to see. As something that we've been starving for years. We've had great defenses before. We want to have a great offense, and, as far as experienced coaches, I'd like a Doug Peterson, who has the Super Bowl experience, had a pretty good record in the NFL overall. I can't really think of anybody else. A Jim Caldwell I'd be okay with, although we had him as a coach the first year. And he left for his personal reasons.
What about Dan? What about Dan Quinn?
Dan Quinn. I was thinking about him too. I would be okay with a Dan Quinn as well, but I think they're gonna stick with an offensive. Or you bring a Dan Quinn and you get a stud OC, then we're right back in it. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be okay with that too. It just has to be somebody. One of the only flaws that Flores had was that he could not build a staff and keep it together. That was his problem. So you bring a guy like that in, you build a staff, and I think we'll be fine because we still have a lot of good pieces and an arsenal of picks and money coming up. So we'll see where we go. I honestly think it was the worst decision to let him go. I wanted to give him another shot. We kind of start over again, but we'll see what they do. We'll see.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I woke up, I even had my wife sending me that little text message because it's just popping up all over social media. And
people that don't even watch football are like, the Dolphins fired their coach. I'm like, yeah.
But it's crazy. But let's move to the next subject. This weekend of playoff games, the weekend Wildcard weekend, as they call it, a lot of exciting games that are going to be happening. Super Wildcard weekend. A lot of exciting games that's going to be happening this week. And other than the Cowboys and Niners, what game are you excited to see?
That's the most intriguing game I have, actually. Behind Dallas and San Fran, I would say Arizona and the Rams. That Monday night game, which is crazy. We're playing on Monday night. I think that's going to be.
I think we think a lot
because I had that in my
notes. Yeah, they split the series,
right?
Yeah,
but both games were pretty good and high scoring. So I think that's going to be a really good game to watch.
Yeah, and I want to see
somehow.
No, I want to see if D-Hop plays, because if D-Hop doesn't play, I think it's going to be a tough sledding for the Arizona Cardinals. They haven't been playing really good down the stretch, and they've been struggling. I think when they're on a 4-game losing streak before they face Dallas, they beat Dallas by only 2 points. And then they go into this game needing a win to secure the top spot, and they got a loss. So I just don't see. I see the Arizona Cardinals losing this game, but it's going to be an intriguing matchup because the Rams and their division rivals, so anything can happen. And splitting that season series, it's going to be very, very intriguing matchup. Now, the thing with the Rams is that it doesn't look like they can stop the run, and if Kyler Murray and James Conner and Edmonds can run all over the Rams, I feel like the Rams can, the Arizona Cardinals can pull this out. But it's going to be tough sledding without D-Hop, and the defense is J.J. Watt. They're saying that J.J. Watt might be available to play in this game, but I don't think that he's going to come back for the playoffs. So we'll see on that aspect. But
yeah, I think Arizona is more than capable of beating LA. LA, obviously, I'd probably favor with them, and especially them being the home team. But man, it all rides on Matt Stafford. Can he get it done when it counts, when it matters? And he had a rough stretch there with throwing pick sixes and just throwing these bonehead throws. But we'll see. It all rides on him and their supporting cast of. Obviously, they have the weapons on offense, with the Cooper Kupp and OBJ and Jefferson, Higbee. Who there is? Sony Michel still there? Yeah, Sony Michel. Did Cam Akers come back?
Yeah, he came back last game. So
Yeah.
he looked pretty decent.
Oh, okay. So
So
they yeah, and then defense, you know what they have on defense. So it's going to be a great game. Another intriguing game I would say is New England Buffalo.
God damn, bro. Are you reading my notes? It's
Really?
like right here. Yeah. I'm
Great
like,
mind thinks alike, bro. Think alike.
yeah. That I have that as one of my intriguing matchup because they're 1-1. They're playing in Buffalo, so it all depends on the weather again. If it's going to be windy, and we're going to see if
They
the
played
rookie
twice
can,
and the road teams won both times.
yeah. So we're going to see if the rookie Mac Jones can pull it off, but it's gonna
God, that guy's face annoys me, bro.
Yeah.
He always looks like he's about to cry, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't he always look like he's about to cry?
Yeah, like he's
always looks
upset
like
on
he's
something.
whining, like
Yeah.
just a little bitch, bro. Like damn, boy.
But
I think Buffalo's gonna take it though.
yeah, I had Buffalo at the beginning as my preseason favorites to reach at least the AFC Championship game, but this is going to be a tough task. It all depends on the weather because Buffalo is not a running team; they're a passing team. Their top rusher is their quarterback. So it's just to me,
Damn, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, like we're gonna see. One, it all depends about the weather, and two, what is Belichick going to take away? Because if the weather is good, then is Belichick just going to force you to run the ball, and play cover 2 the whole time? So it's going to be an intriguing matchup coming this weekend.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be cool, man. A lot of good games, ain't nobody trying to see Kansas City and Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So
what intrigues you about other the San Francisco and Dallas game? Because that to me, I have my thoughts on that game, but what intrigues you about that matchup?
San Fran's defense against your offense. I think Dallas. I'm going with Dallas because I think they have way too much firepower. And that game against Philly was a great tune-up game for the playoffs. They're playing at home. But man, San Fran got a mean defensive line. They get after the quarterback too, with Nick Bosa and those other guys. So I think it'll be a tight one. I don't think it'll be a high scoring game, but I think Dallas will pull it off.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be some around, I'll say 27-20 game. But in favor of Dallas, of course. Yeah. But the thing that Dallas needs to do is stop the run. And San Francisco loves to run the ball.
Yes.
And with Deebo Samuels,
they got some weapons too. And they do run Deebo a lot too. Yeah.
Yeah, they run Deebo a lot.
Who's their starting running back? Is it Wilson?
Not sure about that. Every time I watch a Niners game, Deebo's in the backfield. So
really,
I know
what happened to Mostert? Is he still there?
He was gone for the season, injury wise. Again,
okay.
So I think he's always injured. But
Dallas has their defense is playing really good right now too, and Garoppolo has a habit of just fucking making mistakes, man. So I think you guys have the advantage on that. I'd go with Dak making less mistakes than Garoppolo in a game like that.
And I feel like with our defense playing the run better and just focusing on the run, making Garoppolo try to beat you, I feel that's what their mindset needs to go about, because our run game has been pretty stout this year, other than last game, which Philly, but you had no Michael Parsons, which tears up everything, and then we didn't have Jaron Kearse. So a lot of people are looking at the matchup of Parsons and Deebo Samuels, but my matchup that I want to look at is Jaron Kearse and Kittle, because Jaron Kearse was brought here to be a physical, somewhat of a safety, but he's basically a run stopper and guarding the tight end.
Does he typically guard like the tight ends?
He guards the tight ends, and he's a really outstanding run stopper.
I feel like every team should have it. Like for us, it's either Jerome Baker or Eric Rowe. We always put them on either their running back or the tight end, depending on who it is.
The only person I'm concerned about is Leighton Vander Esch. For some reason, this guy seeks out blocks and gets blocked by like the pulling guard or whatever, instead of getting around them and trying to fill that hole. and bust through that hole. So that's my only worrisome about this game, if they're gonna go after Leighton Vander Esch. But again, I think stopping the run and play a single high and just let Diggs be on the island. Yes, Diggs has given up a lot of yards. A lot of corners have given up a lot of yards because he's not the only one. Jalen Ramsey is behind him, and I forgot the other person that's right behind him. But it's feast or famine with Diggs, because he's gonna get you. He got you 11 picks, a lot of batted balls, but plays. Sometimes he does give away the big plays. So we'll see. He had that week off. They said illness.
He's a ball hawk. He's gonna take those chances, man. That's just how he plays. I think and Sanders was the same way. Xavier Howard can be like that sometimes too, because they're just straight ball hawks and they're going to take chances sometimes.
It's funny that our best corner has been Anthony Brown, even though he got kind of exposed on the Raiders game with all the penalties and so on and so forth. But he has been really, really good for us. Not giving up coverage wise and tackling wise too. So
that's Byron Jones for us.
Yeah, it's going to be an intriguing matchup. I do think the addition of Blake Jarwin coming back for the Dallas Cowboys helps that offense, because Blake Jarwin is our tight end that can go up the middle of the field. Schultz is an outstanding tight end, even though his run blocking is kind of suspect most of the time. But him catching out of the backfield, he's almost just as slow, or I'll say a little bit faster than Jason Witten. Blake Jarwin's almost like a wide receiver. He can go up the seam and get you those 20-yard plays here and there. So it's to me, I didn't want to see Arizona again, just due to the fact that in the back of the Cowboys' mind is like, oh, Kyler Murray is 8-0 in the stadium. So sometimes that takes a factor in people's mentality, and especially Kyler Murray.
Yeah, mentally that plays a role, definitely. Yes. I got Dallas winning 24-17.
Okay.
Who would you guys play in the second round if you win?
Tampa, the winner of Tampa and Philly. Well, it's going to be Tampa. So if everything goes right with top seeds and everybody winning, no upsets, it'll be Dallas road to.
So if Philly upsets Tampa, you guys play another home game?
Yes, we'll play the winner. No, the winner of Arizona and the Rams, because the lower seed would play Green Bay.
Gotcha.
So whoever's a lower seed in the second round will play Green Bay. So that's why I didn't want to be the fourth seed. I always wanted to be the second or third seed if we didn't become the first seed, because Green Bay, and again, the road to Super Bowl, if you want to say, for Dallas Cowboys has to go through Lambeau. So it goes, we only have one home game, then we're most likely going to Tampa
but you could play another home game if there are upsets.
Yeah, if there's upsets. But
you never know, man. The playoffs, that's what I love about the playoffs. Whatever happened in the regular season, that don't mean shit now. Now it's a new mentality. Yeah. Clean slate. Here we go.
But I don't really see Tampa getting upset by the Eagles. So I do see it going, us playing San Francisco, then our next game facing Tom Brady, and then the championship game if we beat Tom Brady.
So you guys are going to Tampa. Tampa beats Eagles. You guys come to Tampa.
We go to Tampa because they're number 2 seed, and then we'll
get
go
some tickets for that game, bro.
We'll go to and then we'll go to Green Bay for an NFC Championship game, which I would want to see Green Bay in an NFC Championship game just because of Aaron Rodgers' record in the NFC Championship game. It's not that good, so that's why you want to see Rodgers in the NFC Championship.
And the last time you guys played him in the playoffs, was that the home game with the Jared Cook catch?
Yes, that was a home game.
Before that was that catch that Des Bryant made, and they said it wasn't a catch.
That Jared Cook catch, I felt like crying. I had to walk my dog for like an hour.
Be honest, you cried. Cried.
It was almost. I was there. I had to take a.
I'll tell you right now, Brian. I think we've talked about this before. If that would have happened to the Dolphins, I would have cried. Straight up, I'm admitting it right now. I would have cried.
I told a coworker this. It's what sucks of being a Cowboys fan is because when we lose, you get that text message like you're mad that we lost, and then you get that text message from every single Cowboys hater, just people that just want to just dig it in right there, and they're like, bro, your phone's blowing up and you're getting so it's just
it's the same thing with me with the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers, I take shit from everybody because they're the Lakers, and especially now that they have LeBron. I've taken shit from everybody my whole life because of the Lakers, because they're one of the, the most famous teams in the NBA. Same things with the Cowboys. So
yeah. We're not going to talk about the Lakers on this on this episode because that's a different.
I don't want to talk basketball for a while, bro. You know what? From now on, when football season's over, we'll talk golf, we'll talk some tennis, or we'll talk some Heat basketball. But man, I have no interest in talking about the Lakers right now.
Oof. Yeah, they're doing pretty bad as of late. It looks like LeBron's getting frustrated over there. Also, but our last thing I want to get to, national championship game tonight. Alabama versus Georgia. Who do you have winning the game?
I'm going with the Dogs, Georgia Dogs.
Is that because you don't like Alabama because of Nick Saban?
Yes.
You ask any Dolphin fan, almost all the Dolphin fans are going Georgia because of
I honestly think Georgia's going to pull it out though, man. They got robbed a few years ago. They got their ass kicked pretty handily in the SEC championship game, but I think they're much better than what they showed in that game. And I think they knew in the back of their heads that they were going to get another shot. So I think it'll be a great game, but I'm going to go for Georgia. I'd say Georgia takes it 31-27.
That's a great score there. I'll have Georgia winning 33-30. I have Georgia winning due to the fact that they lost that game. Now it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. I think them losing to the SEC championship game kind of humbled them, the Georgia Bulldogs. And now you kind of see where you need to, the areas that you need to improve. And I do think that if Georgia, one, gets that running game going and gets a time of possession, I feel like they can pull it off. Georgia's defense is,
and Georgia has some tight ends, man, that especially that one true freshman kid, I forgot his name, but even the guys that those 2 guys after him, they're like 6'5". And I was watching a segment earlier how they didn't get them involved. I think each one of them had like a catch each. The freshman had like a hell of a game, but they show how they were trying to get them involved in the first half and how Alabama adjusted because Georgia kept running like similar plays and they completely shut them down. So I'm hoping that Georgia saw a lot of film and they're able to disguise those things and kind of make some plays there with those weapons that they got.
We'll see. And it's time for Alabama to, have this losing streak. They need it. One, they need to lose this. And then I want Alabama to start, sucking because I'm just getting sick and tired of Alabama in the playoffs. And
I don't think that's going to happen until Nick Saban retires.
Hey, look, but hey, I'm telling you, a team to watch out for next year is Texas A&M because not just because of Jimbo Fisher, but Texas A&M, if I read it correctly, had 22 either 4 or 5-star recruits that they just had. So the last time a team had that, which was Alabama, won the national championship.
Texas A&M beat Alabama this year, right?
I
think that was Alabama's only loss, right?
No,
might have been.
I don't think. No, that's. I forgot who Alabama lost. I know they lost to Texas A&M and
and Georgia. 2 losses.
I thought, they
lost to Georgia.
Yeah, they lost to Georgia, and then they lost to Texas A&M. I believe they have 2 losses. So I got to look back at it. See, I'm in NFL mode, so I got.
I know. So, they might have 2 losses then. Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's crazy.
No, Texas A&M will be good. I'm hoping Mario Cristobal gets to steal some of Saban's recruits, and they're not as good next year.
Yeah. Hey, but what Mario Cristobal has been doing so far, you guys have been recruiting good. Also,
coaches too.
Yeah, FSU, and I think what happened with the hiring of Mario Cristobal is that a lot of the local kids are kind of saying, "Shit, we got a good coach now," and that kind of brings back all the local kids to going to the universities and staying in Florida. And I think it's kind of helping out FSU also, even though. Our coach has been there for a couple of years, but again, this is the make or break year for the FSU.
I'd rather see these recruits, as much as I hate FSU. I'd rather see the kids stay in state rather than go to Alabama or Clemson or.
Georgia. And why do you hate FSU? I would think that you would hate the Gators. Like I hate the Gators. I don't mind UM, but I really hate the Gators. And I thought it would be the exact same thing for the Canes fan, because at least we continue to play you guys each year, not the Gators hiding and stuff like that.
Yeah, no,
Teams,
we hate the Gators, but it's not as personal. Remember, we play the Gators every 4 or 5 years. We play you guys. You're the rival.
Yeah.
We play you guys every year. There's nothing like FSU and Miami.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I hate the Gators,
Uh-huh.
but I don't hate anybody as much as I hate FSU.
And that FSU UM game is,
a lot of FSU fans I speak to, though, they hate the Gators more than they hate Miami.
Yeah, because we play both of you guys each and every year, so I think it's just more of the Gainesville and how, I don't know, they're dressed weird. It's this khaki and green, like I don't know. It's just a bunch of pretty boys, man, over there. But that FSU UM game is down here in South Florida this upcoming college football year, so I can't wait for that tailgate. That's the best tailgate ever. So we'll see.
I'm gonna start practicing my shotguns.
Yeah. So, and don't bring your brother, because that boy can't hang on the drinking.
Ain't coming, bro. 2 beers in and he's done.
So, all right, well, that's it for this episode of Big Meat Sports. Again, don't forget to check us out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Yes, we haven't been on here on YouTube for quite a while, because it is mostly focusing on the Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So go check out some past episodes if you like this episode, and we'll catch you on the next one. Again, my name is Jose, and that's JC from Big Meat Sports, and we'll catch you on the next episode.